Well, Manchester had the strongest desire to remain in Europe back in the referendum days, and nothing has changed. While City continue their almost unrelenting march to another title, United just want the chance to be a player on the continental stage. I mean, scrapping into the Conference League is a bit like giving Old Trafford a lick of paint when the roof is caving in, but it's all about optics, isn't it? And for Erik ten Hag, they matter right now. His team have to win tonight. It was Newcastle's leaky defence that was threatening to ruin their campaign early in the season, but they did manage to stem the flow, and tonight can position themselves on the coattails of Tottenham Hotspur with a win here. Both will want news of Chelsea, who are in action against Brighton on TalkSport 2. It's still 0-0. Chelsea will want United to win or draw so they can sneak into the top 6, but both Manchester and Newcastle are united in that aim too. Here are the two teams. Manchester United making just the one change. Fernandes is in, and the big change is that Newcastle have won the toss and they're going to turn Manchester United round to face the Stretford end in the first half. Onana is the goalkeeper. Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro, Evans and Dalot are the back four. Mainu and Amrabat, the two holders in midfield, with Ahmad, McTominay and Garnacho behind. We think Bruno Fernandes leading the line. Newcastle have Dubravka in goal, Trippier, Kraft, Burn and Hall. That's the back four. Longstaff, Bruno Guimaraes and Anderson in midfield. Murphy, Isaac and Gordon up top. Referee is Rob Jones. VAR is Jared Gillett. It is Manchester United's final home game of the season. It may be Erik ten Hag's final game at Old Trafford. After a dreadful season, can they make a lasting impression? Dean Ashton is with me. Newcastle have won just one of their last 38 league visits to Old Trafford since 1972. But they've never had a better chance, have they?
No, they haven't. And if you look back at the performance in the League Cup, I thought they showed that aggression that they can show at times. Newcastle, the same's here tonight.
Immediately, Isaac picks the ball up and sends it to Gordon, left-hand side. His dazzling feet get him into the penalty area. Lewis Hall with an early cross into the box. Isaac with a header, away by Dalot inside the 6-yard box, and it's cleared out towards the edge of the D. Comes back out towards the near side again. Murphy recycles the ball into the centre, and it's caught by Andre Onana, and he will gather it up and get it clear away to our left-hand side. Onana, who actually has improved as the season has gone on. He's made 142 saves in the Premier League this season. Only Thomas Kaminski of Luton has made more, 143, so he'll probably eclipse that tonight.
Yeah, that's outrageous, to be honest, for a Manchester United goalkeeper to have to be that busy, but it just showed straight away as Isaac does well.
And he's picked it up again, right side of the area, tries to get into the box, gets it onto his left foot, drives the ball well wide of goal, 7 or 8 yards wide of goal in the end, as it fizzes away behind the goal away to our right. The noise you can hear is from the Manchester United fans away to the Newcastle United fans away to our right. There's about 2,500, maybe 2,700 of them who have made the journey across from east to west, and they've been in fine boys ever since they've been in the ground.
And Isak, when he gets into those positions, he's just so clever with the way that he dribbles, and he manipulates the ball, whether it's with the inside or the outside, and he drifts it to both, and it's right and left foot that he can use, the inside and the outside of his foot when he dribbles. Makes it so difficult for defenders to know which way he's going to go.
Ball cleared by Onana, upfield towards McTominay, who may well be the man they aim at from distance. It's a strange Manchester United formation. There is no out-and-out striker, is there? McTominay and Fernandes almost sharing duties as two number 10s, Dean. I mean, obviously for you that is an anathema, isn't it, seeing a side without a proper number 9?
Yes, horrible, isn't it? And I mean, look, Bruno will play that role as such, but actually I like McTominay being in that role. I actually think it's probably his best position, even though it's usually Bruno that plays it.
Gordon almost getting on to the end of a ball which spooned into the air after Amrabat was challenged by Longstaff. It comes out to the near side. Trippier deals with it. One back by Dalot, not taken in well enough by Fernandes. Kraft pinches the ball inside his own territory, and then just right hand side of the defence, and it's going to be cleared away from our left-hand side by Newcastle United. Just moments ago over on TalkSport 2, Brighton against Chelsea. Chelsea given a penalty, and then VAR overturned it after going to the monitor. So no penalty for Chelsea. I'm sure Maurizio Pochettino's not happy about that. Ball up into the halfway line, and again Murphy, for the second time in quick succession, is fouled on halfway. It's a free kick to Newcastle, just left of centre. Never in Premier League history have Newcastle finished above Manchester United, but they would love it, absolutely love it, if they could win here tonight. Just a point actually will do the job, I think. Here is Casemiro forward towards the halfway line, dispossessed again, and Newcastle come forward. Here's Gordon from Isak inside the area, tries to get away from Amrabat. His tackle was a clean one, and it's scooped up and away by Evans, and then from Wan-Bissaka to the far side and cleared away by Bruno Fernandes. But already it's been just far too easy for Newcastle to get into shooting positions, Dean.
It is when Manchester United lose the ball, their shape is always lopsided, and actually Amrabat did well there, because Newcastle were away. Isak into Gordon. Amrabat did the job that holding midfield players should do, which is to follow the ball, to sense danger. It was a good sliding challenge from him.
Amrabat actually played all right in the game against Arsenal at the weekend. He hasn't had too many good games in a Manchester United jersey since signing from Fiorentina, but it was only his first start since December on Sunday when he played against Arsenal. 5 minutes gone. Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 0. Live on TalkSport tonight at Old Trafford. The ball is over on the far side with Longstaff. It goes back towards halfway, and then McTominay snaps into a challenge with Bruno Guimaraes, and it goes all the way back into the Newcastle half of the field. Down the right it goes from Trippier, looking for the run of Murphy, takes a flick off Dallow and goes out for a Newcastle throw, and they progress further down this touchline on this near side.
I also think we've seen more of this from Manchester United, where even here at Old Trafford they will sit a little deeper and get Fernandes and McTominay this evening dropping into a position in their own half and just allowing the opposition to have possession at the back.
And Manchester United have their fewest points, most defeats, most goals conceded, and joint fewest wins at this stage of any Premier League season since February the 24th. Only Sheffield United, Luton and Forest have won fewer points. I'm not entirely sure that with a record like that, we've had injuries, is going to cut it. Anderson for Newcastle, midway inside the Manchester United half. Gordon takes over. He's on the wide left for Newcastle, attacking the goal away to our right, and there's black and white striped jerseys, black shorts and white socks. There's a crunching tackle from Guimaraes, which sends the ball out towards the far side. Collected by Anderson, then back to Gordon once again as they progress forward. Lewis Hall drops back into his position in the left back area. He's started a couple of games now in the Newcastle defence after spending most of the campaign on the bench. Down the right, the ball goes from Trippier, and he tries to bend it in behind the Manchester United defence. Mainly watched it and had to dab it behind and away for the first corner of the game in front of Longstaff, who'd broken from midfield.
Such a placid start from Manchester United, and also they've been so poor on the ball. 3 or 4 times now they've just cheaply given it away to Newcastle, and they're already growing in confidence. And at the very least, if you are going to sit slightly deeper as a Manchester United team, you've got to have some intensity still after the ball.
Trippier to take the corner from the near side, the first corner of the game. Manchester United sometimes a little bit vulnerable from these set-piece situations. Lose out to a burn header. First contact inside the box, headed away by Amrabat, back in by Gordon, away by Casemiro, still not clear. Wan-Bissaka runs to the edge of the area, then gets it out of the box, then turns it back to Casemiro, who eventually elevates the ball to this near touchline. 0-0 the score. We play just nearly 8 minutes here on TalkSport, and it's Manchester United in possession, but they've had to deal with the most attacks from Newcastle so far. We've had no forays into opposition territory with any real gusto from Manchester United. The only semblance of goal mouth action we've had have come from Newcastle United players in the opening 8 minutes of the game. 0-0, but here comes Scott McTominay over on the far side, gets beyond Byrne, runs towards the edge of the area, is dragged back by Byrne. It's going to be a free kick to Manchester United in a dangerous position. Half-time in the WSL, and it looks like Chelsea are on course to go back on top. Ian Abrahams.
They are. Spurs 0, Chelsea 1. A victory puts them on top. The goal on 37 minutes, ball in from the left-hand side by Gura Wrighton for Makia Hamano to slide in from 5 yards out. At the break, Spurs 0, Chelsea 1.
And a goal in the Scottish Premiership. David Tanner.
And it's Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 3 now. 35 minutes on the clock. This time the goal scored by James Forrest. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 3.
Back here, that free kick yet to be taken. We're just about to hit the 9-minute mark on Talk Sport. We've had all 4 seasons so far here today, by the way. Bright sunshine now, just trying to peer through the clouds, the slate grey fluffy clouds that are above the Sir Alex Ferguson stand opposite us. Floodlights on at Old Trafford. Manchester United attacking the Stretford end. The ball with Fernandes, whose delivery is brilliant, in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, punched away by Dubravka, comes back and an overhead kick from Casemiro goes over the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, just kept it alive there. Amrabat just heading it back in, and Byrne hadn't got out. He was lazy to get out with his defence and allowed Casemiro just to try and drop that over his head and try the overhead kick, and not everybody can do it from that position at Old Trafford.
Just put in Ashton YouTube Old Trafford and you'll get a bit of a tutorial. Do you want to take us through the biomechanics of it?
Just left arm up, left leg follows, right leg follows, backside bruised.
I'm sure if it nestles in the back of the net, though, you don't mind that. Here is Anderson skipping away from Casemiro, trying to release Gordon. A little bit too heavy with his ball through the middle of the park there, Elliot Anderson. But again, it's too easy for them to get through, to get past that Manchester United midfield and get to the edge of the penalty area. Andre Onana hasn't had to do much so far this evening, but you get the feeling that he's going to have to increase that number of saves. Here is Garnacho going down the left. Across comes Trippier to get it out of play on this near side, and it is away for a throw-in to Manchester United on this near touchline. It remains 0-0 on Talk Sport, with the aim for both these two to get into the top 6 of the Premier League. Lovely ball over the top for Bruno Fernandes. Out comes Dubravka and heads it away from Fernandes, who was charging in behind that Newcastle defence. Mainu, good turn after it breaks down going up to Isak, gets to the edge of the penalty area left side for Manchester United. Garnacho with a cross into the box, headed away by Kraft, and then it comes out towards the halfway line and Manchester United start again.
Brilliant from Mainu. Ball came into him, he just had a tiny little look over his left shoulder and then a Cruyff touch between his legs and he was away. Just lent it to Garnacho, and that's where he has to improve. Alejandro Garnacho is that delivery from the wide area. He's brilliant when he dribbles, but when he then slows it down and is ready to deliver, it's got to be better.
Well, Manchester United rode an early stall actually here on Sunday, and they gave as good as they got for a little bit, but without ever really stretching David Raya in the Arsenal goal. They'll have to test Dubravka tonight if they want to get anything from this game.
Another poor decision from Amrabat, trying to go flying in and win the ball, gives a foul away, and he just did it a moment before when Elliot Anderson just skipped past him. When you're that last line in midfield, if you are going to go and completely commit yourself, you better get it.
And then as soon as the free kick was taken, it was kicked straight at Mainu. He was then penalised for not being 10 yards. Manchester United thought they'd won it back and they hadn't. Newcastle have got it and they're charging towards goal with Longstaff, who tries to play a no-look pass into Gordon. He was aiming his head towards Jacob Murphy, but went to play the ball reverse to Gordon, didn't pull it off, and it was a rather positive looking attack where it was 4-on-3 in Newcastle's favour, but they didn't really maximise.
No, I mean, there's no look and then there's blind.
Here is Dalot trying to get the ball into the penalty area from the left-hand side. The game going from end to end at this moment in time. A little bit chaotic at Old Trafford. Hall doesn't help the situation by just lofting the ball into the night sky. Drops for Manchester United, and midway inside Newcastle territory, Fernandes finds Evans, who finds Amrabat. Then on to Wan-Bissaka, who drips across towards McTominay, whose header is tame and easily stopped by Dubravka. 0-0.
Decent little dink in the box though from Wan-Bissaka, looking for McTominay, who's got the height on Kraft, but Kraft did really well actually. He just sort of shoved his body in towards McTominay just as he was trying to head the ball. It meant he couldn't get any power on the header whatsoever, and it just drops to the goalkeeper. Really good defending.
He's done brilliant, Emil Kraft, by the way, to come back from the injury that he had and then just slowly but surely fill in the middle of the defence. He's not a central defender, he's a right back really, but he's done a super job for Newcastle United. Offside flag is up against Isaac. And you are listening to Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 0 on TalkSport with Now. And don't forget, with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action. Right, Manchester United versus Newcastle, live right now, contract free, with a Now membership. Search Now Sports.
Amrabat, just closely keeping an eye on him because of that position that he's playing. And every time Newcastle tried to play, he is willing to spring out of that position and completely expose then the centre-backs if Newcastle get ahead of him. It's a dangerous tactic to play, I think, against this type of Newcastle team that have got that pace on the break.
What worried me more than anything else was when Andre Onana started to come out into the middle of the Manchester United half, when the play was quite squeezed, and get involved as almost an extra central defender. And then they started playing the ball short in front of him, and I thought, if they lose it now, they're in trouble. Here's Ahmad, edge of the area, firing a shot in, comes back to Wan-Bissaka, who bundles forward, felt that he was being tugged back. Gordon gets it clear. It's with Mainu on the far side as Manchester United come forward again. Edge of the area, it's Fernandes, scoops it back towards Mainu, right side of the box, into the area, fended behind by a rather confused Dan Burn, who didn't catch it with his right foot, then lolloped it out with his left foot, and it goes out for the first corner of the game for Manchester United. 0-0.
Lovely play from Mainu and Fernandes. Mainu first of all with the touch, and then the little pass in towards Fernandes, who straight away just flicked it over the top for Mainu. Burn eventually getting it away.
16 gone, ball bent towards the back edge of the area, it's gone over everyone and come back to Garnacho's shot. Well, he didn't really catch it right. I think he was being closed down at the last, and he rushed it and dragged the ball towards the near post. It was 5 yards wide, but everybody got drawn towards the ball. It went over their heads, and there was a bit of space there for Garnacho. They didn't once again maximise or capitalise on the situation. It remains goalless on TalkSport. Manchester United fans packed in here once again in the Stretford end. There's Sir Alex Ferguson stand up in the scoreboard end away to our right, and this the Sir Bobby Charlton stand where we're sitting just right at the halfway line towards the back of the stand. And bearing in mind the fare that they've served up over the season, the fans have stuck with them brilliantly really. In the last 10 matches, United have won just one match in 90 minutes, and that was against Sheffield United. Here's Garnacho into Fernandes, spreads the play to the wide right, there's no one there, it's over Wan-Bissaka's head. It was well misplaced by Fernandes. It goes out of play and away for a throw in the left full-back position.
And when Fernandes does drop, which he'll want to do because he'll want to get involved, it is McTominay then who is playing as the striker. I wonder if there is an issue with Højlund, because I think he always gives you an energy up there. He gives you that threat in behind as well, so a little surprised that he didn't start.
Well, is the issue 1 goal in 10 games?
Yeah, but you don't not play him because of that, personally, in a team that's lacking a striker anyway.
He had scored 7 in his previous 6 before then. 14 goals in his first season in the team at Manchester United. I think probably as a 21-year-old playing your first season in English football, that's not bad, is it?
Not considering the service, no. I think he's really lacked genuine service from wide areas. I think Fernandes has got the quality, but from wide areas, whether it's been Garnacho, Anthony, Rashford, they've not given him the service that I think he requires, because I think he is flash it across the box and he'll get in front of defenders. I think he's that type of player.
Onana Playing out from the back, straight ball into Casemiro. He gets it off Fernandes and then lifts it over the top towards Ahmad. Flicked onto Mainu down the left channel. Now he's into the box and tees up Garnacho. Garnacho surrounded by 3 black and white jerseys immediately. Bruno Guimaraes does superbly. So does Dalot to win it back and try and poke it forward. Trippier comes across, shuts down the attack. It's another corner for Manchester United.
And Bruno Fernandes is down on the turf. He took a whack there. He was just trying to protect the ball. But Garnacho has made a really, really poor start to the game. Well, he's young, of course he is, and will have inconsistencies, but having given Ben White a genuinely tough afternoon against Arsenal, he's not started the game with much confidence.
Corner kick then to Manchester United. Away to our left-hand side in front of the Stretford end. And there are 6 inside the area wearing red for Bruno Fernandes to Ahmad. And the ball's still on the plinth away to our left-hand side. And he's taking his time over getting ready for it, Bruno Fernandes. Casemiro's just having a drink behind the goal. Don't rush, lads. Cole Palmer's in a bit of a rush. He scored once again. Cole Palmer on the score sheet. Brighton 0, Chelsea 1 on TalkSport 2. Ball towards the back edge of the penalty area. Ahmad hits it first time. Crashed away by the Newcastle defence. Comes out as far as the midpoint of the Newcastle half. Amrabat stops Gordon from escaping, and then it's picked up by Ahmad again over on the far side. He loses his footing, slips on the greasy turf. It goes out for a throw-in.
But they've weathered that early Newcastle pressure growing into the game. Manchester United just looking to get Fernandes on the ball as much as possible. He's actually been in decent form towards the end of this season, Bruno Fernandes.
Oh, he's been brilliant. He's been the only source of goals, hasn't he, over the course of the last few appearances. I know he's missed the last 2 games with a hand injury, and I don't think the fact that United have failed to score in both of those is a coincidence.
No, not at all. Got a bit of work to do yet to get the Cantona cast look.
Well, there's no collar on this jersey, which doesn't help him, I don't think, you know. Gordon over on the far touchline for Newcastle United. I was listening to a brilliant interview that he did with Gary Neville on the overlap, actually talking about how he tailors his own fitness program, uses visualization methods, devours books on sports leadership and performance. He's got 20 goal involvements in the Premier League this season, which is damn impressive. Here he is on the ball once again, leaving it for Lewis Hall, and then Hall cracks it right from the edge of the area, straight down the throat of Banana, and it's a routine save.
Yeah, obviously getting a run in the team, Hall. And I think this is where his strength lies, is getting forwards, showing that energy. He's got a real look of Chilwell about him in terms of the way he just strides forward, and he's confident with that left foot and confident enough to take the strike on.
Evans up to halfway into Fernandes, back wide to the left touchline, and on the attack comes Garnacho, tries to get on the outside of Trippier, had the beating of him for pace, but then Trippier just managed to position himself in an area to stop any attempt at a cross. Comes back to Bruno Fernandes and then back wide towards Garnacho, but it's too heavy. Garnacho's not going to reach that. It's going to slide behind and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. So 22 gone, Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 0. Newcastle fans are the ones that are providing the soundtrack so far tonight. Buoyant, knowing that their team have come into form at just the right time. 6 wins in the last 8 matches, powered in part by the supreme forward play of Alex Isak, the finishing ability of the Swede, who's got 15 goals in his last 19 appearances. Made his 50th Premier League appearance in the 1-1 draw against Brighton at the weekend. And in Premier League history, Dean, only 9 players have scored more goals in their first 50 Premier League games.
Yeah, that is impressive.
Talking of impressive, Celtic about to clinch the title. David Tanner.
It's half-time, Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 3. Sam, a point would be enough tonight for Celtic to clinch the title this evening, but they're on fire. Adam Ida, Dyson Maeda and veteran James Forrest with the goals so far. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 3 at half-time.
Well done to them. Let's just have a quick look at the Premier League table, because with Chelsea winning and these two drawing, At this moment in time, Chelsea will go up into 6th, Newcastle 7th, Manchester United 8th. And that's how it will be going into the final day of the season if results stay as they are at this moment in time. Manchester United have never finished 8th, by the way, in the Premier League. They've never finished lower than 7th in the Premier League. Here's Dalot, Amrabat, back to the centre circle where Johnny Evans is waiting for it. And he can remember times a little bit brighter than the ones that he's been accustomed to over the last 10 months since being back at the grand old place. Problem is when he walked into the dressing rooms in Old Trafford and Carrington itself, he probably realised that not much has changed in the 10 years that he was away.
I think Newcastle have shown already in this game, coming up to 24 minutes, both sides of how they've been away from home. They made such a great start.
Here's Murphy drifting the ball into the box towards the far post. It's headed away by Wan-Bissaka. Not a great header by Dalot. Garnacho under pressure from Murphy. Just about gets it back to Dalot. From the left full-back position manages to hoist it clear. Fernandes goes on the scamper. Doesn't manage to keep it in. It's a Newcastle ball inside their own half.
Yeah, they made such a good start. And they were on top of Manchester United. And for some reason they've then gone back into their own shape and gone deep, and you sort of think, why, when Manchester United are lacking confidence and you've got the upper hand, would you then sit deep? And again, it has to come to what the manager's instructing the players.
It'll be interesting to see how the game pans out. I just get the feeling that there will be a chance for one of their two incredibly speedy players to get in behind the Manchester United defence, and when that happens, Manchester United are going to be in massive trouble. Here's Gordon, infield to Anderson. They're a sensible team, aren't they, Newcastle? They try to be in control of the situation. They're not a super front foot chaotic team that put you under huge amounts of pressure. I was at the Tottenham game at home the other week, and actually, they just bided their time, then picked Tottenham off on the break. I mean, it was far too easy for them. I think it's going to be as simple for them here tonight, but they've got those deadly wingers in Murphy and Gordon. Gordon in particular has been in great form since the international break. And then the rampant goal scorer, Alexander Isak. There'll be a threat from set pieces with Trippier back in the team as well. Here's Byrne, just inside his own half of the field. Across to Lewis Hall. Hall looks up, slides it forward, finds Zizek, and then there's a dart from midfield by Longstaff. At the far post is Murphy. The cross from the left by Anderson isn't great, but it comes back to him after it's poorly defended. He continues, gets to the byline, tees it back up for Gordon. Gordon's on the angle of the area, now motors towards the edge of the box, cuts in on his right foot, leaves it for Bruno Guimaraes. He hits it, blocked by Mainu into the air. Forward down the right by Kraft. It's collected by Trippier. Decent looking cross. Casemiro away. Bruno Guimaraes trying to get there. McTominay does brilliantly, uses his body to edge him out the way, and then release Fernandes. He darts upfield, gets to the halfway line, gives it to Garnacho, who returns it. Fernandes back over the top to Garnacho, in behind, needs an option, hasn't got one, goes for goal, saved by Dubravka, who made himself like a starfish, and it's scrambled behind for another corner.
Yeah, it was a good save in the end from Dubravka. The angle narrowed for Garnacho, just accelerated into the penalty area towards the point of the 6-yard box, and then as Dubravka came out, he made sure that left leg was out to stop Garnacho just trying to curl it into that far corner.
Good stop that. Nick Pope, by the way, back on the bench again tonight. It won't be too long before he's back in the Newcastle goal. Dubravka, who was on loan here at Manchester United last season. Ball in by Fernandes towards the near post, flicked by Isak, and it almost squirted through to McTominay. Comes to Ahmed, edge of the box, and he elevates the ball far too high. And he just sort of swiped at it from the edge of the box. It was a bit behind him, and he sent it high into the Stretford end, away to our left.
Something tells me that Dubravka might have left that medal in his flat in Manchester.
Yeah, I don't think you can get away with turning up to the Newcastle training ground with it hanging around your neck.
Although that would be good.
Yeah, not if you want to stay there.
No. There's some players that appreciate that.
Here is Emil Kraft, the Swede. Back to Dubravka once again inside his own half of the field. Eddie Howe hoping to steer Newcastle to back-to-back top 6 finishes. Something Newcastle haven't done since the era of Sir Bobby Robson. Here is Gordon getting away from Wan-Bissaka down the left-hand side, trying to slide it forward. Wan-Bissaka gets back at him, nudges it behind, it's away for a corner.
Needed to play that first time into Isak. Gordon, he did brilliantly well. I mean, he just sensed that Casemiro was there. First touch around the corner, Casemiro absolutely left. Hasn't got the pace whatsoever to stay with Gordon, and then he gets on the other side of Wan-Bissaka. But you only get one chance usually with Aaron Wan-Bissaka because he's so tenacious in his defensive work.
Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 0. That's the latest scoreline from here at Old Trafford. 1-0 to Chelsea in the Premier League. Ball is out for a corner. Trippier to take it. So deadly with that right foot. He arrows the ball towards the far stick. Byrne is up there with a header. Under pressure from Mainu. Isak went up, jumped, didn't reach it. Ahmad tries to get it clear. Manchester United trying to fumble it away. There's a bit of pushing and shoving which referee Rob Jones didn't like, and it's going to be a free kick on the edge of the box for Manchester United.
I mean, part of Manchester United's attacking threat has been Onana. When he's got the ball, Onana's looking first time in behind the Newcastle defence for Garnacho or Mainu, who's making that late run.
That's one of the reasons that they bought him, wasn't it? You know, his passing range, his ability with his feet. Maybe he needs to translate that to Aaron Wan-Bissaka because he's just put the ball out of play over on the far side rather casually. But that's a major facet of his game tonight. We haven't really seen much of that over the course of the season, have we?
No, I don't think we have. And he's got the range. I think he's got every pass in the book,
every club in the bag, as you might say.
Why didn't I? It's poor from me.
Yeah, especially since you spent the afternoon playing at Mottram Hall.
Lovely afternoon.
Yes, if you don't know where Mottram Hall is, just imagine the greatest manor house in the northwest of England and a superbly manicured golf course, which is exclusively the preserve of the rich and the famous and Dean Ashton. Here is Trippier up over the halfway line, headed away by Diego Dalot, nods it into midfield. Amrabat trying to get away, nudges it to Dalot once again. Bruno Fernandes, has he got an issue in the middle of the park there? He doesn't look particularly happy. He's got the ball now, quakes it over the head of Anderson, feeds Wan-Bissaka, needs a better ball this time. He gets it onto Scott McTominay, being matched stride for stride with Dan Byrne. Goes back to Wan-Bissaka again, and again it's good defensive shape by Newcastle because they just keep Manchester United at arm's length. Amrabat, back wide, Amad Diallo cutting in from the right side, chipping in onto his left foot, then tries to feed Fernandes, comes to Mainu, all the time in the world to slot it into the corner and put Manchester United into the lead. Kobbie Mainu, free inside the box, and with speculation rife, doubts everywhere, maybe Manchester United are going to finish with a united front. Kobbie Mainu inside the box, fed by a combination of Amad Diallo, a little bit of awareness from Fernandes, and there was the England youngster to turn and fire home into the corner to give Manchester United the lead, 1-0.
Well, I mean, the finish is so cool and calm. Nothing like what it should feel like when you're a young player. There's no panic there from Kobbie Mainu as the ball in from Ahmad towards Fernandes, and he actually leaves it in the end, whether he gets a shout or not from Kobbie Mainu. But he finds himself completely free because he just drifts in there late. Penalty spot, takes one touch, gives Dubravka the eyes and just whips it across the Newcastle goalkeeper into the left corner. It's a lovely finish from the young man.
Erik ten Hag sends two fists up to the sky. Kobbie Mainu celebrates his fourth goal of the season, the youngest player to start 15 games in the Premier League this season, and he's on the score sheet for Manchester United. And you do just wonder, looking back at that, what were the Newcastle defence playing at? In particular, Trippier, who just seemed to leave him and allow him to take that touch and then stroke it into the corner.
Well, I don't think he was looking to actually do anything against Mainu. He was marking someone else, but he was certainly left in there.
Here is Longstaff responding at the other end with a trickling ball through the 6-yard box. No one gambling at the far post, and it goes out and away for a goal kick to Manchester United. Almost an immediate response from Newcastle.
I mean, Trippier was 3 or 4 yards behind his defence. The only thing I could think is that he thinks it's Fernandes who's going to take control of it, and he misses Fernandes on purpose or not, I'm not too sure. And then Mainu was completely free because no midfield player had tracked him.
Strange. I'd see a replay of it, to be honest, to see whether or not there was maybe someone thinking that there might have been an offside there, which is why they were a little bit hesitant at the back, Newcastle. But they have really sort of tightened up quite well at the back in recent weeks. Maybe Trippier a little bit ring rusty, just dropping back a little bit too deep and not keen enough to get out, and as a result playing them all on side. So this is how it will look. Manchester United with that goal now go level on points with Newcastle, not enough to overtake them because Newcastle's goal difference is so far superior. Manchester United 57 points in 8th place, Newcastle United in 7th, and Chelsea into 6th with 60 points. But here is Gordon into the area, trying to get beyond the defender, goes down after being sandwiched between two, Amrabat and Casemiro. Casemiro got the ball.
He did, but Amrabat was sloppy again on the ball. Gordon was sharp and bright and alert and took the ball off him, drove into the penalty area. It's just whether Amrabat, did he have his hand on his back to pull him at all? But the tackle from Casemiro was outstanding.
Well, Rob Jones stopping the game will just calm things down and wait for a little look from the VAR. Well, there was an arm on the shoulder. In fact, there was 2 hands on Anthony Gordon at one point. Certainly he was doing his best to pull him back. Whether or not that would be deemed as enough contact to give a penalty, I'm not entirely sure. There was definitely contact from behind as well from Amrabat, who collided with his feet actually.
He did, but personally for me that's just typical battling contact. That's not pulling the shirt, that's not yanking his shoulder, that's just you trying to be strong and get your arm across to hold Gordon.
2 lads coming together?
Yes.
That was the phrase that Andre Onana used at the beginning of the season when he punched the Wolves striker in the face. He actually said to me, there's nothing wrong with it, it's just 2 big lads coming together. Halfway line free kick up towards the edge of the penalty area. It drops for Kraft, he hits it, bounces off Amrabat, out as far only as Longstaff. They recycle it here, Newcastle. Come down the near side, chipped by Murphy to the far post, header down and off the line. Did it go over? The referee said no. Burns' header cleared off the line and Manchester United survived. Newcastle was certain they were going to score an equaliser. Good header from Burn, good defending from Manchester United, who's got back on the line and managed to clear it. Here they come down the left hand side with Anderson into the box. Onana just about gloves it and clears it away.
I mean, it was a brilliant cross from Murphy. It was really all he could do. Rather than trying to flash it into the defender's legs, he just stood it up to the back post. Burn with a big header downwards past Onana, and it is so close.
Oh my word.
Casemiro, brilliant initiative to get himself back into an area where he could head it away. And it obviously then all eyes at the referee, and he was in the just outside the area. Robert Jones staring at his watch like you would do when your kids are late.
Well, I think when we see the GDS replay, that ball is going to be 90% over the line. Casemiro getting back brilliantly. Yellow card for Elliot Anderson for a foul on Ahmed over on the far side, generates a free kick. And a free kick which will be taken over on that far touchline by Bruno Fernandes. And it's about 20 yards from the edge of the box, right side, right on the touchline. He plays it short, gives it to Ahmad, then wants it back again. Ahmad's ball back to him is dreadful, and it allows Gordon to go across and slide the ball out of play and away for a throw down by the corner flag. Bit of a waste of a free kick.
Yeah, that would warrant a heated debate at half-time if I was a forward or a centre-back that's gone up into that area.
Poor old Johnny Evans only just got up there, and now he's got to get back. It's going to take him to the bank holiday, I would have thought. Here's Ahmad far side. Where are we going with this? Anthony Gordon's left ankle. It looks like it's been severely damaged by that collision. Well, the sock's been ripped. There's a rake down the back of the Achilles.
That's because Casemiro absolutely cleaned him out, but got the ball first. Brilliant challenge, and that's what used to happen regularly.
Amrabat's heel looks a little bit worse for wear.
Also, we're not sure nowadays. The players love to just cut the back of the socks, don't they?
What is that all about?
Do not get me started on that.
There's a hefty challenge by Bruno Guimaraes on Casemiro. He's gone down and he doesn't look particularly comfortable at all. The referee is going to stop the game here, and immediately they want to get the physios on to deal with him. It was a nasty fall, that, and he's not at all happy, Casemiro.
No, it's one of those that you just hate to see when a player goes up for the header and almost takes a ride slightly off. It's actually his own player, McTominay, and it kind of then twists his body in the air and lands awkwardly.
That is one of those where you can wind yourself and take the whole block of air out of your lungs very quickly. And he's getting treatment now on the field of play, and they're just checking that he's no further damage to higher up the body by the neck and the shoulders. He's just cleared a brilliant attempt off the line at the other end. Dan Burns' effort went towards goal, and he just about got back to get it clear from inside the goal. He was actually in the goal mouth. And Lisandro Martinez, just warming up down in front of us, gets the acclaim from the Old Trafford crowd as he goes through his paces just in case he is required. Casemiro's up and ready for action. Brighton behind at home at half-time to Chelsea by 1-0. Cole Palmer with his latest strike. Manchester United leading here by 1-0, and Celtic on the verge of the title in Scotland. In the WSL, Tottenham 0, Chelsea 1, Chelsea going back to the top of the table. The top of the table with the final day at the weekend, and Chelsea coming here to Old Trafford, and should they win and win well enough, they will be champions again in Emma Hayes' last game in charge. Murphy, who looked like he was being dragged from the shirt down to the floor by Dalot, has won a corner.
I think in the end it was a very good challenge from Dalot. I'm not too sure about how much of a shirt pull there genuinely was, but as I talked about, you think what have they actually been able to achieve, particularly Newcastle in this half? Not that much.
Trippier's delivery easily dealt with by Bruno Fernandes. Goes back as far as Hall. Hall motors forward. Scored his only senior goal here against Manchester United in the Cup. Back to Trippier near side. First time ball into the box, steered behind by Amrabat. And the Newcastle fans away to our right just turn up the volume a little bit because they've got another corner just before half-time.
That's now 3 or 4 times Amrabat's got himself into a great position defensively, just sensing the danger.
Here's the corner, deep one, comes all the way through to Bruno Guimaraes. He just took his eye off the ball, and it goes out to the far side. Manchester United leading by 1-0. Ball switched towards the far post. Trippier keeps it alive, steers it back into the centre. Casemiro backpedaling, puts it over the top and sends it away for another corner. Well, when they do get the ball wide, they do get it to Trippier, to Gordon, they can open up this Manchester United defence. They just haven't been able to come up with the way to unlock the door.
Brilliant pass from Gordon. Trippier doing the right thing. Casemiro good defending.
Another delivery in towards Bruno Guimaraes, whose header is well wide of the goal.
I mean, how can that happen twice? Where Trippier plays a ball in, it lands at Guimaraes' feet and he miscontrols it. The next corner, the exact same happens. Guimaraes has then a free header, makes a complete mess of it, looking to head it into the far corner, almost heads it back to Trippier.
But no one's paying any attention, like none. It's almost as if he's wearing a cloak of invisibility inside there.
A bad one.
Why did no one go and pick him up? Who was detailed to mark him?
Because everyone's focused just on doing their job in terms of zonal. Just literally, I'm in my own zone and that's it.
Here's Garnacho inside the box trying to get sent away by McTominay. The offside flag's going to go up against him. Well, Manchester United's boss has constantly highlighted the mitigating circumstances, but lose tonight and they would have lost 10 home games for the first time in their history. I'm going to suggest that in over 100 years there's been greater cause for a poorer season than this. He will be delighted that without having to do too much, they are in front in the game. Kobe Mainoo with the goal. It was a bit of a gift from Newcastle United. We'll go to Kilmarnock in just a second. Newcastle have the ball on halfway. Back to Dan Burn, whose header was cleared off the line. Hall swishes it from left side to right, looking for the run of Trippier, who's scampered into the right wing position. He gets up to the edge of the area where he finds Guimaraes. He's trying to turn past Scott McTominay, who doggedly sticks to his task. He waits, feeds the ball into the right side, comes back to Trippier and then Guimaraes again. Burn, Hall, and then further on towards the left where it's collected by Elliot Anderson. Anderson into Hall once more. He slides it into the path of Gordon, and that wispy figure with blonde hair goes on the outside of Amrabat, beats him, pulls it back through the area, takes a deflection, goes behind. It's out for another corner. It's another electric run from Anthony Gordon. Let's get the goal at Kilmarnock. David Tanner.
And it's now Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 4. Celtic's player of the year, Matt O'Reilly, left-footed from the edge of the box. A cracking finish from a super player. It's now 51 minutes gone. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 4.
Had about 20 shots on Saturday, didn't he, from the edge of the area before eventually scoring his goal. He was brilliant on Saturday, Matt O'Reilly. Ball delivered from the corner to the far post. Byrne picks it up and it's cleared away towards this near side and out for a throw-in. 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Manchester United lead by a goal to nil on Talk Sport. And that goal coming from Kobe Mainoo. Byrne, very simple 1-2 to get Murphy down the right hand side. He pulls it back inside the box. There's no one there to get on the end of it, and Newcastle are frustrated. Manchester United trying to escape, sent out wide towards the far side. Ahmad gets hold of it now, runs towards the edge of the box, tries to feed McTominay. His shot blocked by Byrne, goes out of play over on the far side. Manchester United 1, Newcastle 0 on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all your vehicle business needs.
Brilliant play by Bruno Fernandes. Just held the ball long enough to allow the movement to take place, and it was Diallo on that far side, and he just waited, clipped the ball over the top towards him, and then he was furious because he felt like Amad Diallo should have played it back to him. Instead he played it to McTominay, and Byrne once again, who's done a good job against McTominay, was in the way.
Into the second of three added at the end of the first half. Another short set piece taken. Bruno Fernandes then momentarily robbed. He wins it back, feeds Diallo inside the box, then he gets it back from Kobe Mainoo into the area, skating through all comers and then running into Dubravka, who kicks it clear. And in fact it wasn't Dubravka, it was Jacob Murphy getting back there to get in front of his goalkeeper and stab it out towards the near side. But Diallo, maybe by a bit more luck than judgment, just managed to wander through half the Newcastle defence.
Yeah, I thought he was the best player on the pitch until he went off against Arsenal. I thought he was terrific, and this is exactly where his strength lies, is that intricate play around the box and then close control when he gets in there. Brilliant challenge from Murphy.
It really was.
Look, you get that wrong and it's a penalty, no doubt, and he's seed it all the way, and maybe shows, you know, the Manchester United wide players what it takes to do your defensive work as a wide player, to follow the players in.
Oh, Onana, maybe getting a bit of range anxiety because he gave the ball away rather cheaply with his feet straight to Murphy. and now invited the counter charge from Newcastle. Not a great ball from Bruno Guimaraes, and then it goes out on this near side and away for a throw-in to Manchester United, and that's probably going to be the last act of the first 45 minutes.
I think a bit like Martinez for Manchester United, Amrabat gives the supporters that genuine feel like he will run through a brick wall for this football club, steaming into that challenge with Longstaff.
He was really popular before he came, Amrabat, like almost a cult figure before even donning the shirt. Played in the Crystal Palace game of the League Cup, did brilliantly from left back, and then it sort of faded for him really. Well, certainly Manchester United determined to make their mark in their final home game of the season. The last time that Newcastle finished above them was 1977, and Eric Ten Hag's team desperate not to give up on the chance to leapfrog the Toon at the very last. Kobbie Mainoo with a goal that puts United in charge for now at half-time. It's Manchester United 1, Newcastle United 0. As it stands, Chelsea will finish 6th, Newcastle 7th, Manchester United 8th. For Manchester United to go above Newcastle into 7th position, they would need to ensure that they won on Sunday and that Newcastle didn't pick up 3 points in their game at the weekend as well. And Manchester United in a situation where they will face Brighton away from home. Newcastle got to go to Brentford on the final day of competition. Manchester United's best hope of European football would probably be to win the Europa League, to win the FA Cup and get into the Europa League, but that doesn't look like it's an easy thing to do. Here's Isak straight at the start of the second half, into the edge of the penalty area, trying to find Bruno Guimaraes, whose effort is saved down low by Andre Onana, and an early flash towards the Stretford end from Newcastle United at the start of the second 45.
Yeah, naive start from Amad Diallo, losing the ball to Guimaraes, who fed it into Isak, gave it back to Guimaraes, and just a deflection took any sting off the shot. Onana gathered comfortably.
Good first half from Manchester United. Here is Mainoo, who got the goal, trying to link with McTominay, didn't quite pull that off, and it's cleared away by Newcastle. But Manchester United in the red shirts, white shorts, black socks, attacking the goal away to our right. The scoreboard end at the start of the second half are on the offensive once again. I'll go through the 2-11s for you in just a second. Manchester United's only defeat in their past 28 Premier League home games against Newcastle, December 2013. Yohan Cabaye scored the only goal of that game. Alan Pardew, Talk Sports Alan Pardew, was the manager of Newcastle at the time. In fact, Newcastle have an awful Premier League record in Manchester. They've won 2 of 52 trips combined at both Manchester United and Manchester City, taking a total of just 19 points from 156 available. I think they like it here. Well, Manchester United in front at this moment in time. Still a long way to go in the game. Amrabat under pressure from Bruno Guimaraes. Murphy putting pressure on Dalot, and it goes all the way back to Andre Onana away to our left. He's the Manchester United goalkeeper, with Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro, Evans and Dalot in front of him. Amrabat and Mainoo, the two holders in midfield. Ball given away cheaply by Fernandes. Here's his edge of the area, spreads it to Gordon inside the box, tries to tease it through the legs of Casemiro, comes back to the on-rushing Anderson. He opened up his body far too much and then flicked it away, and it's out and away for a goal kick away to our left.
Yeah, it was really good play by actually Casemiro in the end, because Gordon just tried to open his body up and play it through Casemiro's legs, and he just went down like a cricket fielder as the ball came towards him with one knee down and one leg in a crouched position. Managed to block the shot from Gordon, and then when it came to Anderson again, he's tried to open his body up but just opened it way too much and almost passed it out for a throw-in, went out for a corner.
Given away by Manchester United again, and then ball sent into the boards. Gordon inside the penalty area, and he gets on the end of a cross from Murphy and produces a finish in front of the Stretford end to put Newcastle on the scoreboard and cancel out Manchester United's lead inside 3 minutes of the second half. Onana's kick not dealt with, won back by Newcastle United, sent down the right hand side into Jacob Murphy, whose pinpoint cross was met by Anthony Gordon. He tapped home. Newcastle level. It's Manchester United 1, Newcastle United 1.
And once again, they just look so vulnerable when they lose the ball. Manchester United, so similar in a way to the Arsenal goal. Down the same side in terms of the cross. And once again, Gordon is ahead of Wan-Bissaka. Casemiro's not turned his body to see where he is. The ball in is absolutely perfect from Murphy. He doesn't waste any time. He gets his head up and he lashes it across. Gordon, outside of the right foot volley though, close into Onana. That's a decent finish, I have to say, to go with that foot.
Well, that is and may be a big turning point in the game. Manchester United conceding after just 3 minutes of the second half. And so much still to digest from what's happened even before and during this game. There was an incident with Marcus Rashford apparently earlier on when he appeared to be irked by comments from a Manchester United fan in the warm-up, had to be taken away by teammates. He looked a little bit of a confused figure in the warm-up after a fan shouted at him, but Christian Eriksen had to pull him away to make sure they didn't get involved in a confrontation. That's doing the rounds on social media. And then there is the incident involving Amrabat and Gordon in that first half, where actually on closer inspection it may well be that could have been a penalty.
Well, just again, without the luxury of a slow-mo replay, you just couldn't see that Amrabat stood on the back of Gordon's Achilles just as Casemiro was making the challenge. You could see in the end why Gordon was so incensed.
Ball picked up by Anderson out towards the left-hand side. And he looks for Gordon, and then across comes Wan-Bissaka, who helps it up into the middle of the Manchester United half. Amad Diallo takes over, gives it to McTominay, swishes the ball out to the far side, taken down brilliantly by Garnacho, and across comes the defender Kraft in front of his goalkeeper to put it out for a corner over on the far side.
Lovely slick football from Manchester United down the right hand side, played into McTominay, lovely pinged pass across just over the head of Trippier. The touch was just a little bit heavy though from Garnacho. Dubravka would have got there, but Kraft just made sure.
Well, Manchester United usually have an imperious record when they lead at half-time. In football matches here, they've lost just one of their last 145 Premier League games when ahead at half-time, dating back 10 years to September 2014. But they've been pegged back at the start of the second half. Here's Bruno Fernandes from the corner. Right-footed shot, saved by Dubravka. Parried out by the goalkeeper, and it comes back to Amrabat. Manchester United trying to put pressure on again. Oh, they've given the ball away. They're in trouble now. And Amrabat's going to get back because Gordon is speeding away. And Isaac is free on the edge of the area. They fed him. He's shot. It's scooped over, hit the bar and gone behind. And what great fortune for Manchester United. Amrabat getting back and doing just enough to influence that effort from Isaac, which spooned over the top, hit the base of the crossbar, the top of the crossbar, and flicked behind and away for a corner kick. But so easy, the counter-attack.
I mean, the trampoline touch from Wan-Bissaka was terrible. And Amrabat, I mean, the superhuman strength that he's shown in a Fiorentina shirt, and certainly for his country, to dive across and stop that from going in. But I just thought Gordon should have delayed the pass to Isaac. I thought he played it too early and allowed Amrabat to get back and at least make a challenge. That shouldn't have happened.
1-1 the score. Manchester United and Newcastle United live on Talk Sport tonight. Here's the corner to be taken by Anthony Gordon. Right-footed, deep towards the far post. Header down by Byrne, hits the defender. Was there a handball? That was the accusation from the Newcastle United on watchers. Mainly brings it away, goes out of play on the far side, and out eventually off Byrne for a throw-in over on the far side. Goal at Kilmarnock is TalkSport's David Tanner.
And it's now Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 5. Matt O'Reilly, second of the half, his third of the week and his 18th of the season. A championship winning season. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 5 with 10 minutes to go.
Did hit the arm of Amad Diallo, but a penalty's never going to be given for that. It was down by his side, tucked in. Dean Ashton.
Definitely. Couldn't have been more by his side, to be honest. But again, I mean, why is Kobe Menu marking Dan Burn at the corner? It's just obscene.
Have you not seen Twins with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger? It's kind of a proportional mismatch that isn't ever going to work out in the little guy's favour. Full-time in the WSL, Ian Abrahams.
Spurs 0, Chelsea 1. Chelsea top of the table and 2 goals clear of Manchester City. Hermano with the goal on 37 minutes from Brighton's ball in from the left-hand side. They go to Old Trafford on Sunday. City go to Aston Villa, and we'll bring you reports on all of those last day games here on Talk Sport. Finished here, Spurs 0, Chelsea 1.
Good work, 1-1 here at Old Trafford. Emma Hayes will be here on Saturday trying to lead her team to the title. And watching from up on high here, Steve Holland, the assistant manager of not Manchester United, Freudian slip, might be by the end of the summer, of England. Watching on ahead of a big summer for England, of which Anthony Gordon is hoping to be a part of. He's just hobbling off on this near side to get a little bit of treatment. He actually isn't going to leave the field here. He's going to take the free kick instead. Jason Tyndall in close conversation with Eddie Howe on the touchline as they prepare to send this set piece into a crowded penalty box. 1-1 the score. Manchester United led at half time, have been pegged back very quickly after it. Here is Gordon, 2 hands in the air and sending it right-footed deep towards the far post, and out comes Onana and sends 2 big strong arms up into the sky, grabs it and will then take it to the edge of his box. 1-1.
Yeah, terrific goalkeeping. Takes the pressure off. And it almost feels weird now when a goalkeeper grabs the ball and catches it.
As a centre forward who would come back occasionally and defend set pieces, would you prefer it when your goalkeeper claimed or punched? Here's Fernandes at the other end, coming forward for Manchester United. Deflection of his attempted left-footed cross takes the ball behind and away for a corner.
Definitely claimed, because then you don't have to worry about when it gets recycled back in, which is even more hard work that I didn't want to do.
Did you ever sort of ask them what was the logic behind punching it?
No, because we never talked to them.
It's Fernandes over on the far side. They're a strange breed, I suppose. In towards the near post, half-headed away as far as Diallo! Cracks one into the corner with real venom. An unstoppable shot. Absolutely rifles it, left-footed, edge of the penalty area. Past the despairing dive of Dubravka, and Manchester United are back in front. 2-1.
You cannot catch a half volley sweeter than this. It just fortunately ricochets from that corner from Fernandes. I think it was off a Newcastle player. Falls beautifully for him on the edge of the area. He waits for it, and then he times it perfectly. It only ever leaves the floor about 2 foot, and it stays there. No lower, no higher, just absolutely arrowed past Dubravka, basically before he can dive. Stunning strike. Past the despairing dive of Dubravka, who was a little bit unsighted by the presence of Bruno Guimaraes, but it was a sweet hit from the number 16. And Amad Diallo celebrates another big goal. He scored a big one against Liverpool here in the FA Cup, a stunning moment which really caught Manchester United, probably their best moment of the season, and he's given them something else to cheer. And he's been in good goal scoring form, not only for Manchester United but going back to his last season at Sunderland as well. That's 9 goals in 24 for United and Sunderland for Amad Diallo, who has just taken the ball down elegantly and pulled it back towards the halfway line. I mean, he was sensational at Sunderland, and they really, really missed him once he'd gone. And I was surprised it's taken so long for him to get as much football. I know he's had an injury.
Yeah, he had an injury, didn't he, at the beginning of the season.
But even once he was back, it's taken a while to start games.
And he's got an injury here. He felt he was caught down in front of Ian Hussin, the assistant, on this near touchline. The assistant said no foul and play on, despite the fact that Anderson does look to have caught him a little bit there.
I mean, he's coming right across Anderson at real pace. So, is it the way he's landed? I mean, he went off against Arsenal with what looked like a slight problem with his knee, whether that's a reoccurrence of that.
Well, you said actually when the teams came out earlier, Ahmad's fit, because you thought after what you saw on Sunday he wasn't going to be able to start the game tonight. He's on the floor looking as if he's in quite a bit of pain, but he's getting back to his feet now. Second goal down at the Amex. It's Brighton 0, Chelsea 2. Christopher Nkunku with the second goal for Chelsea. Puts them in pole position to achieve a top 6 finish as we speak at this moment in time. So going Pochettino's way at last. If things stay as they are, then Chelsea will have 60 points and be in 6th position with a much better goal difference than Manchester United, who are 3 points behind them. Here is Garnacho, edge of the area, twisting away from Trippier as we restart Old Trafford. 2-1 to Manchester United, the score here. Diallo and Kobbie Mainoo with the goals. Shot from range from Dallo, punched away by Dubravka. Picked up by Mainoo on the edge of the area, fighting for it, scrapping for it off Hall. Clips it into the box, but to no one in particular. And then Hall and Guimaraes tidy up at the back for Newcastle United. Byrne clears up towards this near side, net by Casemiro, won by Gordon, on to Isak, quickly forward, didn't take it in his stride, and then was trying to chop down Isak. Casemiro missed him, and then the referee said, actually, because you tried to do it, I'm giving a free kick. Well, he did try to hack him down, and it did then halt his run slightly, which then gave the opportunity for Amrabat to actually get back and make the challenge. So the referee was absolutely right. Currently Manchester United 2, Newcastle 1, and for the latest odds you can head to Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Manchester United 7-4 on, Newcastle 11-2, draw 27-10. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org. Going to have a couple of changes here, and it's going to be 3 changes for Eddie Howe. Fabian Schär, who picked up a little bit of an injury a couple of weeks ago and is playing with a slight hamstring strain. Joe Linton, who's just coming back from injury, and Almiron coming off the bench and onto the pitch. And off the pitch and onto the bench go Anderson and Murphy. And the final change for Newcastle United is going to be Kieran Trippier, who comes off, having played around about an hour. Yeah, obviously good news to have Schär back after what was possibly a season-ending injury, but he's back. And he'll go straight into that attacking line, ready for this free kick. Well, free kick to be taken on this near touchline by Anthony Gordon. The rejigged attack of Newcastle approaches it. Schär goes up and tries to win the header. It drops inside the box and Fernandes will get it away. And he sends it long over the halfway line. Dubravka's going to meet this. Almost headed it into the path of Diallo. Hall gets there first. Referee doesn't give a free kick, even though the Manchester United fans wanted one. And then there looked like there could have been a foul on Fernandes, and it goes out for a throw-in to Newcastle United. A few animated Manchester United figures down in front of us. Bruno, Bruno is the chant from the Manchester United fans. Their team lead by 2-1. He just tugged the back of his hamstring there. That's the last thing that Manchester United fans will want to see. No, but I don't think it's an issue. Maybe it was more landing on top of Hall's foot. Almiron trying to run in behind down the right hand side, overrun And the ball just drifts out of play up for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. So it remains 2-1 to Manchester United, live on Talk Sport tonight. Sportsbar open for business and around about 10 o'clock this evening. 03717223344. The boys will give you their verdict on what they've expected and what they expect from the final day of the season and what they've seen tonight, their assessment on the Newcastle performance. How would you judge the Newcastle performance tonight?
I would say from the start, again, I talked about the aggression that you see from them when they're at St James's Park, and they showed that for 10 minutes. And then since then, I think they've lacked that cutting edge, haven't they? And they haven't got Gordon and Isak into the game as much as they should do against a defence like this that Manchester United have.
Manchester United, I think, would be the happier of the two by some margin. Here's Fernandes over the top from Casemiro into the penalty area, tries to centre the ball, loses his feet as he releases the ball because of a challenge which sends him off the playing surface, down the back of the camber of the Old Trafford pitch and into the advertising hoardings. But he's up very quickly to take the corner that he's won down this right-hand side.
Again, really good defending from Burn in the end. Manchester United got him behind, he went sliding in, had to make the challenge, or else that would have just been a tap-in from McTominay. And if anyone who's been here to Old Trafford, you know how much the pitch dips away once it's off the side. It's not particularly nice as a player as you go sliding and bouncing off that.
Fernandes with a corner, right-footed in towards the near post. Casemiro with a diving header at the near post. He's now gone behind the goal away to our right and down the camber. Back to Fernandes, edge of the area, sizing up a shot over the top of the crossbar. He drove that left-footed from the edge of the area, and it was about a yard or so over the top of the axis of bar and post, and it is out and away for a goal kick. But they have been slightly more the aggressor in this game, Manchester United, and after what has been a sorry end to the season, really, they've won just one of their previous 8 Premier League games since the March international break. I think many Newcastle observers were expecting something a little bit different when they travelled here tonight.
Yeah, I would say so. But Manchester United, you're right, have come out aggressively, and I think that is more what Ten Hag and what I saw from that Ajax team. That's what I expected. Oh, it's brilliant.
Joel Linton in towards the edge of the area. Chance for Longstaff, who shoots. It's saved by Onana. There was a one-on-one situation on the right side of the box. He hit it straight at the goalkeeper. It sort of came off his face, I think. And it goes back out to the far side. Bruno Guimaraes just got some space though, edge of the area, moving towards the box, plays it into Isak, trying to get some space for an effort, sends it wide instead, gets it back off Kraft and then tries to send it into the wing position. Isak back towards Kraft far side, who's now playing it right back because Trippier's off. He crosses the ball towards Joel Linton with a header, tipped over the top by the backpedaling Onana, and it's out for a corner.
Yeah, a couple of decent saves from Manchester United's goalkeeper. First of all, it was fantastic touch from Isak earlier. Ball fizzed into him, just a little Cruyff turn, flick in towards Joe Linton, pass in towards Longstaff, and all that Onana could do is come out very quickly, make himself as big as possible, and like you say, either took it in the face or on the chest, and then there just tipping over Joe Linton's header.
Great chance for Newcastle. Good save for United. Another corner in towards the back post. Longstaff with a header. Can't quite get it on target. Bounces to the near side. Gordon with a header back into the box, which looks a little bit disjointed. It comes to the edge of the area, and Hall jinks his way past one challenge, then runs into Amrabat, and now the counter-attack is on. Diallo steams forward, goes infield to try and take on Joel Linton. Gordon then pulls down Diallo, and Anthony Gordon's going to get a yellow card.
Yeah, I mean, that was the most obvious shirt pull. Think Chiellini on Saka, that type of obvious. And Gordon, look, the right attitude, of course, to try and get back and help, but actually they've done the hard work. Joe Linton had slowed the play down, then that's just a poor decision from the winger.
Anthony Gordon, who was sent off by tonight's referee Rob Jones earlier in the season for 2 bookable offences, is in the referee's notebook again. Free kick floated by Fernandes to the edge of the Newcastle United box. It's well dealt with by Newcastle, but Fernandes has got another chance to send it in, and he does send it in right through the edge of the 6-yard box, and Scott McTominay, who was arriving, almost got there just in the nick of time, just evaded the Scotland international.
Diving header, that's what it needed. Needed full commitment diving header to get on the end of this. It was a brilliant ball from Fernandes, and he has the right to say why wasn't anyone on the end of it, because he put genuine pace on it. But you've got to dive Superman style at that with the head.
Full time in Kilmarnock. Champion Celtic, David Tanner?
Sam, it's Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 5, and that means Celtic are champions for the 54th time. They are now one short of Rangers' world record of 55 domestic titles. Goals from Adam Ida, Dyson Maeda, James Forrest, and a double from Matt O'Reilly made this a 5-star performance for our Celtic side, who are now the champions of Scotland.
Cheers, David. Thank you very much. Congratulations to Celtic. They are the champions of Scotland. Here is McTominay. Manchester United trying to see out this victory. Newcastle trying to get back in the game. Foul on Joel Linton. Free kick to Newcastle. Quickly taken by Byrne. Help forward towards Longstaff. He's got Kraft outside him. He's got Almiron hounded by Dallo and Garnacho. Almiron, the Paraguayan, has it on the far side. He turns it back towards the halfway line. Infield it goes to Byrne. Byrne, slender, long, sometimes gangly and awkward looking, but such an effective defender since his signing from Brighton for Newcastle United. Here is Isak toying with Casemiro again. Just is a little bit scrappy with his challenge, a little bit clumsy, gives away a free kick in a dangerous area. And it's going to be a Newcastle set piece.
Well, he'd won the ball initially and then lost his balance, and while on the floor he's then gone to try and kick it away and not seen that Isak was behind him, who just nipped in ahead of him. And they've had enough of these set plays now, Newcastle. And Fabian Schär on as well, and Joe Linton, that extra bit of height now from the set plays, and Gordon or Hall will take it from this left hand side.
Now Hall standing about 5 yards back from the ball, and Gordon ready to whip it in right-footed. It is Gordon who hoists it to the far post, looking for Bruno Guimaraes, who just gets something on it but not enough to steer it to a black and white jersey. And across comes Onana and gloves it, and then went to try and distribute it quickly, didn't, and Manchester United had a situation where they had a couple of players stationed up right inside the centre circle waiting for the ball that didn't come.
It happens quite a lot for Manchester United. When Onana has the ball, a lot of teams you see either the centre-backs split quickly or the full-backs sprint out to the touchline. No one seems to move when Onana has the ball. Therefore, he's searching himself for where to play it.
Joel Linton forward towards Isak, stretching but can't reach it. Evans comes across on the cover and nudges it back to Onana. Rifles the ball immediately upfield, but it's not accurate, and it'll go loose in midfield. Longstaff will ping it straight towards Gordon inside the area, goes past the defender, left-footed ball towards the far post. Somehow it's evaded that upright. Fizzing shot from Gordon, and diving in at the far post, Almiron couldn't connect with it.
Too easy, far too easy for Newcastle. Ball just cushioned in towards Longstaff in midfield. He turns and plays a defence-splitting pass into Gordon, who faces up Casemiro, and dear oh dear, it's a pathetic effort to defend Casemiro. He doesn't get his body into the right position. Gordon just eases his way past him, and is he trying to shoot? Is he trying to play this? I think he's trying to shoot into that far corner and just gets it slightly wrong, and Almiron actually does well to even make it look like he could have got there.
Casemiro crumpled like a sandcastle after a tidal wave there.
But he looked so uncomfortable in that position, and he didn't help himself at all. He was so square on.
Ball cleared away from the edge of the box by Schär, and you just get the feeling that there will be at least another chance for Newcastle to get on the score sheet here. Manchester United's propensity to give the ball away and not be in the right positions when Newcastle quickly go into transition. It's outfoxed them once or twice already tonight. Newcastle haven't been at their best, but still have got effective strikers of the ball that can cause the opponents grief. And there's 17 big minutes to go at the end of the last home game of the season at Old Trafford. Manchester United want to finish it on a high. It's a better performance tonight, but will it end up in a better result? Actually, Henry and I were walking back from Old Trafford the other day as the ball goes over the top towards Garnacho, and then Dubravka can't keep it in, and it's smuggled out for a corner and mishandled that. Henry and I were walking back from the game the other day. We were talking with Alex Crook about the performance, and Crookie, big Manchester United fan, was sort of, they did better, and they worked a little bit harder, they didn't collapse. And Henry and I just looked at him and said, yeah, but they still lost. And that seems to have been the theme of the season, especially here. More defeats than ever before in Premier League history. You have to go back a long way in the history books to find a season as bad as this statistically for Manchester United. But they're in front tonight. Ball deep towards the far post. Casemiro with a header down. He's loose inside the area. Steered away by Almiron. Comes back to Casemiro inside the box. But Hall will get it away. And then Amrabat will step in front of Gordon. It looks as if he's hobbling a little bit on this near side. And Manchester United have got it back again. Ahmed, just a couple of yards in from the right touchline. Amrabat back to Wan-Bissaka. 2-1 the score in Manchester United's favour on TalkSport on a night where Chelsea are getting very close to cementing European football with victory away at Brighton.
Manchester United have had much more control of this second half. I know Newcastle have had their moments, but possession-wise, Newcastle 58% in that first half, and it's Manchester United with 52 in this half. They've been much more the aggressive side, and it really does suit Manchester United better with the players certainly that they've got in the forward areas. If they can show the energy to press quickly and win the ball higher up, I think it would help them massively.
Hall out to Bruno Guimaraes on the near side. Ball sent over towards the right now, and charging forward, trying to keep it in his craft, and he's done just about that. No, he got something on it to try and stop it from sneaking over the white line and the perimeter of the playing surface, but he couldn't get back up to get it under control. And as he stretched down the camber, the ball just inched over the byline and out for a goal kick. Another change. Harvey Barnes is coming on, and off comes Longstaff. Interestingly, Newcastle's substitutes team have been amongst the most productive in the league. Their 14 goals scored by replacements is the most in the division, and one short of the all-time Premier League record.
Wow. And actually they've had big chunks of the season where they haven't had a full bench as such. They've had some young players on the bench at times because of the injuries.
Well, they've got Joe White and Alex Murphy on tonight as well, haven't they? Here is Amrabat in front of his own 18-yard box. The general in front of the back four, who hasn't been able to take command too often this season because of injury-blighted campaign. Casemiro to Wan-Bissaka. You wonder actually whether or not this is Casemiro's last performance on this grand stage. Has been linked with a move away at the end of the season. Some people have suggested that it might be time for him to move on.
I think it's going to take a serious amount of coin though to get him out of this club with the contract that he will have signed.
12 minutes to go. Fernandes felt that he was fouled from behind by Cher, and that was a little bit naughty. The referee's given a yellow card.
Yeah, I thought he could win it, Fabian Cher. And Bruno Fernandes just saw that he was there. Little flick round the corner, clever. Managed to just about get out of the way of the challenge also.
Manchester United, who for so long this season have been criticised for not having an identifiable style of play. The manager's come under serious heat. He has scoffed at those who have suggested that he should be replaced as the manager. He scoffed at those who suggested that they don't have a style of play. He said it's pretty evident for them to see. He also said that they were one of the most dynamic and entertaining teams in the league not so long ago.
I think he's come out with certain statements in the press, and I think it's more for the players. I think it's more to try and keep the confidence of the players up rather than necessarily. I think he'll know when he's on the training pitch and he watches the team back that there's still so much more improvement, and actually I don't think they're anywhere near what he wants this team and how he sees them playing.
Rafael Varane and Martial definitely going to leave in the summer. It's reported today that Aaron Wan-Bissaka might be having one last hurrah here tonight as well. There will be a big summer of chop and churn. The good news for United is they still have a chance of Europa League next season. They face Manchester City in the FA Cup final May the 25th. Win that, Europa League is there for them to take. Maybe their best chance of European football. Foul on Casemiro. Now Marcus Rashford, I think we're going to see a brief cameo from him towards the end of the season. Alessandro Martinez going to join him again. He's had a problem with injury all season. Hardly seen him at all this campaign, Alessandro Martinez. He's been a massive miss. Reece James has been sent off for violent conduct down at the Amex. Brighton 0, Chelsea 2, last minute of the game. VAR involved in that, but Reece James given a straight red card. He's another one that Chelsea haven't seen enough of this season, and they won't be seeing anything of him again because he kicked out João Pedro in a reminiscent moment of the Diego Simeone-David Beckham confrontation at the 1998 World Cup. Yellow card given against Ahmad, and that was for trying to tug back Anthony Gordon and breaching a promising attack. Always generates a yellow card, and it's a free kick to Newcastle United. So 3 changes about to take place for Manchester United. Alessandro Martinez, Rashford I've told you about, and Rasmus Højlund is coming off the bench as well now. Taken quick to Joe Linton. Bit of a waste from Joe Linton, who almost conspired to give it back to Manchester United. 9 minutes to go. Can Manchester United hold on to this slender lead that they have and take 3 points from their final game at Old Trafford? It's worked wide to the Newcastle left. A decent cross to the far post. Kraft tries to keep it alive. He arrived late, tried to re-centre the ball, but it was an awkward one to try and squeeze back, and he can only find the side netting.
Yeah, it was overhit from Harvey Barnes. Kraft did his best, but as I talked about that slope, I think he had that in mind as he was trying to keep that in. He couldn't just wrap his foot around it. And the biggest cheer will no doubt be for Alessandro Martinez.
Well, off comes Amad Diallo. His goal celebrated with gusto, as you would expect. Once again making a significant contribution. Martinez comes on for Mainu. And there's that cheer for Martinez. Rashford is on for Garnacho.
Trying to shore things up. I think Casemiro you would expect to go into midfield with Amrabat, McTominay, and then Højlund on one side. Sorry, Højlund down the middle, Rashford on the left, and Bruno will probably play on the right now.
Højlund involved right from the very start. Maybe McTominay will drift over towards this near side. Fernandes looks pretty comfortable in the centre and doesn't look like he's for moving. Here is Gordon on the near touchline, trying to swing the ball towards the far post. Away by the header of Rashford, even though he was under pressure from Kraft, and then it's cleared upfield. Manchester United trying to put Byrne under pressure, who sends a back pass to Dubravka, and he has to scurry backwards because it was a bit hefty. Last thing you want to do is concede a goal like that at the end of the game. Currently Manchester United leading by 2-1. Here's Isak though, trying to do something about that. Down the left side of the Manchester United defence, getting on his right foot, running into Lisandro Martinez, who chops him up like the butcher that he is. Takes the ball, nicks it, and then sends it forward. Out to Fernandes, left-hand side. Tries to put it through the legs of Joel Linton and succeeds. Finds Højlund, edge of the D, trying to work space for the shot, and squeezes it into the far corner. And scores Manchester United's third goal and secures all 3 points. He runs over towards the near touchline. He puts his fingers to his lips to quieten the Newcastle crowd. It's Manchester United who are going to come away with a victory. And Rasmus Højlund, who hasn't scored for what feels like a very long time, has a goal in front of the scoreboard end that clinches all 3 points at Old Trafford. Manchester United 3, Newcastle 1, and Manchester United are going to finish their home Premier League season on a high.
Terrific centre-forward play. First of all, Bruno Fernandes, the pass, he absolutely means this. Joel Linton comes across and he plays it through the midfielder's legs. Højlund does brilliantly. This is all selfish centre-forward play. He's got no thought process of passing to anyone else. He just shrugs away Dan Burney, shifts it to his right hand side, and then he does what you should always try and do, and that's fire it between the defender's legs. He does that with Hall as he outstretches the left leg, and it means that the Bradford just can't see it as it goes to his right hand side. And I'm not sure what the Newcastle fans have done to Højlund, but he went right over to them, cupped his ears, shushed them. Not too sure about that.
Well, he's left on the bench today after 1 goal in 10 since coming back from an ankle injury. And he is on the score sheet in the final 5 minutes of the game. And Manchester United are going to get only their second victory since the March international break in 90 minutes. And at last, something to cheer about for the Manchester United support. It's only a second victory in 9 Premier League matches. And it may well set them up for a late charge for Europe. You never know. Final day vibes unfolding on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Arsenal-Everton live on TalkSport this Sunday. I'll be with Darren Bent for that. Adrian will be at the Etihad Stadium. Trophy lift, twists and turns, everything you need throughout the course of the day. 4 more games will be live on the TalkSport app, and we'll have a commentary game on TalkSport 2 as well. Anything happens, as soon as it happens, will be live on the TalkSport network. And of course, any changes in position will also influence that. Chelsea at the moment favourites to finish in the top 6. Newcastle dropping down into 7th to eclipse Newcastle. Manchester United will have to win or get a point and hope that Newcastle don't. They'll have to better Newcastle's result because the goal difference is so bad. Newcastle at Brentford, Manchester United away at Brighton on the final day of the campaign. Here is Hall with a free kick towards the far post, heading down by Joel Linton into the arms of Onana, who gratefully receives it.
So difficult to get the power when you've got to climb on top of a defender anyway, to then generate the power on the header when it was just clipped in from Hall. There was no real pace on that. Very, very difficult.
Højlund trying to get the better of the Bradford, timed his run pretty well and came out and just snatched it off Højlund. Højlund seemed to slow up at the very last there. It was nudged out and away for a throw-in over on the far side.
I mean, I'm amazed. He's not just got there first, because he seemed favourite. It's almost as if he then saw out the corner of his eye this big blue Monsters Inc. character coming towards him and just basically was scared. Simple as that. That's all that was.
Oh, given away on the edge of the area by Hall. Wan-Bissaka tries to get it centrally, blocked by Hall, and he manages to help it outside of the box and away via Harvey Barnes towards the halfway line. The Toon trouble at Old Trafford is going to continue here. Only 1 win in 38 visits. Ball out towards the far side in the Premier League and in league football. Joel Linton from distance tries a strike. It's speculative. It way over the bar, and it's out for a goal kick away to our left. 3-1 to Manchester United. You're listening to Talk Sport, and the latest odds are available at Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Rashford a score between now and at the end of the match, 11-1, and Isaac to score any time at 6-1. It's all thanks to Ladbrokes 18+, begambleaware.org.
Eriksen coming on for Bruno Fernandes, who's milking it for all it's worth, and why not tonight, because they're winning the game. He's clearly playing with a slight problem with that hand, wrist.
And he'll come off to be replaced by Eriksen. The next time the majority of these Manchester United fans see their captain will be at Wembley, 25th of this month, live on Talk Sport. A repeat of last year's cup final. And actually, the first time since 1884-85 that the same teams have met in successive FA Cup finals. How mad is that?
It is.
And Manchester United's lap of honour might not be to a full Old Trafford when they finish here tonight, but they will do a lap of honour. And that lap of honour, Erik ten Hag insists, will not be him waving goodbye. There'll be one or two that they won't see too much of again, that's for sure. At least they're signing off with a victory here. It's been a difficult home season for Manchester United. Here's Hall into the box at the other end for Newcastle, whose away form has been their undoing this season and is going to be their undoing tonight. May well stop them getting into Europe altogether, because if they were to finish 7th, Manchester United 8th and Chelsea 6th, and Manchester United won the FA Cup, then they wouldn't get a European place. It may be that the Conference League is going to be their limit anyway. Here is Hall down the left for Newcastle, sent towards the far post, a deep cross which is sent by Barnes to Kraft, takes a deflection off of Dalot and goes out for a corner late on. 6 minutes of added time at the end of the 90.
Yeah, they've just not been very clinical, Newcastle, and I'm not just talking about the chances, I'm talking about when they've got in areas to cross the ball, the set plays that they've had. They haven't made enough of those opportunities, and when you're away from home, you have to.
Corner kick over on the far side. And it's sent in by Gordon towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It was headed away, it'll come back out to Hall, who's going to crack it goalwards and score. He scored here in the League Cup, and now he's scored here a brilliant goal, a belting goal. 25 yards out, driving the ball left-footed, unreachable for Onana, and it's 3-2. And Lewis Hall, who scored his first ever senior goal with a terrific long-range strike in the League Cup here, has another long-range strike which has damaged Manchester United and made them feel a little bit uncomfortable with 4.5 minutes of stoppage time remaining.
Well, there's definitely one man in a black and white shirt that doesn't mind coming to Manchester, and Lewis Hall has shown why. Manchester United don't get out to him quick enough. He has plenty of time to take a lovely touch, size it up like it's a free kick. The ball actually comes to a stop from that touch without a Manchester United player near him, and it is just like a free kick. He just steps up to it, curls it up and over the Manchester United players and past Onana to his left-hand side. It's a terrific goal.
Well, a couple of things worth saying. Manchester United have had a habit of giving away points in the last minutes of games recently. In fact, in 6 of the last 11 Premier League games, they've thrown away points thanks to goals conceded in the last 10 minutes of matches. It's never easy here, it's never simple, and it's never predictable. It's Manchester United 3, Newcastle United 2, on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every single day. I mean, they've now conceded 84 goals in all competitions this season, Manchester United. The last time they conceded that many was 60 years ago, 1964. First match of the day episode, Goldfinger, Carnaby Street, the swinging 60s, the Beatles hitting America. You have to really thumbed through the statistics books to find a season as bad as this defensively for Manchester United.
And that's why you're here. Top stats.
So you don't have to do it. Harold Wilson had just been elected as the Prime Minister. Manchester United trying to hold on now to this victory. Full time at Brighton. Chelsea 2, Brighton 1. Chelsea have got their victory despite the fact they were down to 10 men on the final few minutes of that game. Welbeck scored a late goal in that match, but Chelsea have held on and they will claim 6th spot tonight. 3 points ahead of Newcastle. It means they'll only need a point on the final day to finish in that position. Manchester United, who have never finished lower than 7th, will have to win and hope that Newcastle don't, in order that they don't finish as low as 8th this campaign. That's even with a victory here tonight. They lead by 3-2 with 90 seconds of stoppage time to play, and nerves and tension in the air, because if they were to get another goal now, Newcastle, it really would ruin the lap of honour at the end of the match after what has been a largely positive evening for Manchester United. Gordon sends the ball towards the far side. He's mishit that. He's shanked it really, and it's gone out of play and out of touch.
Even if that wasn't a poor attempt, I don't know what he's thinking in terms of Joe Linton made a decent run down the left, just play him in. Instead he's come inside and then trying to play a cross-field pass. And when you're down to the last few minutes of added on time, that's where you have to be really assured with everything you do to at least get it into the box to put the pressure on.
Gordon, maybe one last chance for Newcastle United. Gets it back off Isak, gets to the edge of the area. McTominay stops him in his tracks. Run back by Isak though, who tries to go through the circuitous route. Then Guimaraes wins it back because initially Eriksson had managed to get it clear. Barnes gets it back to Bruno Guimaraes, and Newcastle need to get it forward. They've got 20 seconds of stoppage time to do so. Is there going to be a late twist in the tail? Bit of anxiety around Old Trafford all of a sudden. Joel Linton to the right, one last chance. Cher into the area, headed away, comes back out to Rashford, who thunders it up towards the halfway line, and no Newcastle player is going to get back. Højlund is, and he's charging forward, and he's into the area now. He can finish it or square it. He tries to square it, and Lewis Hall gets back and tucks it behind and out for a corner, and that's probably the last act of the game.
Why play it across if you're Højlund? No pressure, take that on yourself, score yourself a second goal. Instead you try and play it across to Rashford, which is a difficult pass, and it gets cut out. Just go and put it in the net, man.
Well, I think you can see on the evidence of this performance why these two teams haven't troubled the top 4 this season. Too many holes at the back, a lack of ruthlessness at times in front of goal, though Newcastle have scored so many goals. It really has been their defence that has been their undoing over the course of the campaign. Scored more goals at this stage of the season than the entertainers did. Here's the short corner into Rashford inside the area, space for a shot, blocked by the defender Kraft, and it spirals out to the far side. 97 minutes have been played here. Manchester United holding on for a victory, just about getting over the line. A positive performance, a much better performance against a tiring Newcastle team, a tiring Manchester United team that might need to summon a bit more energy to avoid the ignominy of an 8th place finish on Sunday. But they finish at home with a victory at Old Trafford, which means they go level on points with Newcastle United, and those two now seemingly fighting it out for 7th position. Maybe Newcastle can sneak into 6th if they're fortunate with results going their way elsewhere, but Chelsea the big favourites for that now. All things told, all 3 of those teams will look on 6th position as a triumph, really, after a season of trials and tribulations. It's only the second time that Manchester United have won a match in 90 minutes since they beat Everton in the first week of March. It might not be enough to keep Erik ten Hag sitting comfortably in the Old Trafford dugout, but it might just light a spark ahead of the cup final in 10 days' time. It's finished at Old Trafford. Manchester United 3, Newcastle United 2.